This program is brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?
Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. You may have heard throughout your day that today, the 21st of May, is World Day for Cultural Diversity, for Development and Dialogue. According to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, the United Nations General Assembly first declared this World Day in 2002, following UNESCO's adoption of the 2001 Universal Declaration on Cultural Diversity. The UN therefore looks to enhance the potential of culture as a means of achieving prosperity, sustainable development, and global peaceful coexistence. The peaceful coexistence and unity of Botswana's over 20 tribes, with their varied customs, dance and art, is exemplary in this context. From the age-old rock paintings, ostrich egg beadwork, indigenous knowledge and more of the Basara in the far south, all the way to the dance, food and lifestyle of the Wayei in the far north of the country. Festivals from Letlhafula honoring the harvest to Domboshaba celebrating the Kalanga culture, and dance forms from polka to Tutube and Setapa all form the rich tapestry that is Botswana's cultural diversity. In addition to this are the exotic influences of the many nationalities that have come to call Botswana their home, due to its conducive environment that includes the constitutional right for freedom of worship. From various African nationalities to Europeans and cultures from the East, modern Botswana boasts of a cosmopolitan populace, all driving the nation's economy forward in this era of globalization. In honor of this day, we bring you some illuminating conversations we had with the dignitaries who attended Kiralatsovam 2019 event at Maitisong Theatre not too long ago. We spoke to Srijith Alakat, president of Kerala Samajam, organizers of this cultural event, to learn their objectives.
Kerala Samajam initially started as an association of people from Kerala living in Botswana for employment purposes. It was giving an opportunity for them to meet and celebrate their festivals and everything. But later on, by around say 2004, we decided to register it as a society, proper society under the Societies Act. For the past many years, we have been actively engaged in all these kind of programs. It includes lighting up villages. Some villages were fully lighted up through our contributions. We are conducting medical camps, blood donation camps every year for the needy people. Then during the winter, when winter comes, we are donating blankets and medicines for the needy people. In that lines, we are actively involved in social and community welfare activities. Whatever people need, we are into that. Tonight, we are celebrating Keralotsavam in this theatre, in this venue. Keralotsavam means celebration of Kerala. So we are depicting some of the cultural and celebration activities of Kerala in front of the audience here. It includes some dance items, some music items, and a variety of items which are traditional in Kerala and which are we wanted very famous in the world, but we may not have any opportunity to witness them in any other earlier in Botswana. So we are giving an opportunity for the people to witness it. And by depicting the culture, when we are in the middle of different cultures, by depicting the culture of our traditional cultures, we are bringing some awareness to the other cultures also. It helps in understanding the diversity of each culture. Of course, you know, Botswana, we are in the middle of various cultures. So by celebrating each culture, other people are getting an opportunity to see what is the advantages and the differences of this particular culture.
In attendance was Dr. Rajesh Ranjan, who serves both as High Commissioner of India and as Special Representative of India to the Southern African Development Committee, SADC.
As you all are aware that India has a long-standing relationship with Botswana, and India-Botswana is very strong and unique friendship, which is mutually beneficial and a perfect example of South-South cooperation. And one of the important aspects of our relationship is people-to-people contact. I call it this people-to-people contact through strength, where S stands for share, T stands for tradition, and R stands for responsibility, E stands for entertainment, N stands for new ideas, G stands for growth and prosperity, T stands for training and capacity building, trade and investment, and transfer of technology, and H stands for health and healing. As you all are aware that today we are gathered here to celebrate a cultural event organized by Kerala Samajam. And culture is a condition being educated or cultivated. It is an idea and philosophy of a specific society at a specific time. However, the culture is formed out of ethical values and moral values to control the society. Today's function will add to these diverse culture. And India has been always considered a culturally rich country because of its unity in diversity. Today we are showcasing through Kerala Samajam one of the important aspect of our culture, which is especially belong to southern part of India from the state of Kerala. To create awareness among our diaspora community, as well as create some awareness about the community lives in Botswana, Indian community, as well as the people of Botswana, that how rich our culture is. And today's event will definitely add a value to enhance our cultural relationship between India and Botswana. I am confident that today's event will definitely strengthen our people-to-people contact, which is the aim of our today's event.
What is the future of help? It's to help people find the great in themselves, the drive, the passion, help them find their true potential, help them stretch, help them grow. That's why we help people help themselves, help the world, because a little help goes a long, long way. FNB, how can we help you?
The biggest aviation spectacle of the year, the Wesbank Botswana International Airshow, accommodates thousands of spectators, participants and crew from all over the world. Now, organizing an event of this magnitude requires not only substantial amounts of money, but also impeccable organizing skills and passion. The thrill and the action, all the suspense and fascination umbrella the spectating crowd below the skies, who have entrusted the organizers with their safety, believing no harm would come their way. In this segment of the show, we ask Matsieng Aerodrome CEO and organizer of the airshow, Henty David, how he continues to mobilize participants to the show, especially liaising with world-renowned stunt pilots, while also ensuring the trust earned over the years from the public is not broken.
Well, to be quite honest with you, ma'am, preparations for an airshow of this magnitude starts almost a year in advance. Because first and foremost, next year's date has got to be fixed, because it has to fit in with the Southern African airshow and events calendar. So you need to book in advance your show date, and and it's usually compiled more or less 12 months prior. So that is the first thing. And once the date has been set and agreed with mainly the South Africans, because that is the place where many and most of the air shows take place, we get our slot, and which is usually the last weekend in May by custom now. And so they know the Botswana International Airshow, end of May. And we are very happy to name it the Wesbank Botswana International Airshow, Wesbank being the main sponsor. And then most of the arrangements usually start in January of so it's about 5 months ahead. It's all the permissions. Firstly, the Civil Aviation Authority, that is the key permission. Once CAAB has given the permission, it's BERS, immigration, and the Defence Force, and a major requirement is for the Wall of Fire, which we have, the Department of Mines, and in particular the Directorate of Explosives has got to be involved. And there's a whole list and a number of people that has to be consulted. And then for obvious reasons, the logistics. The logistics is of extreme importance, so that at least everybody could have something to eat and to drink on the fun-filled day. And then lastly, but virtually the most important, is the safety aspect of everything. It pertains the emergency services, involving them, getting them on board prior to make arrangements, and to have the emergency response plan in the event of something happening, that we need to be prepared.
You're on your 8th year right now, and the anticipation is still the same as the first time. How have you made sure that you keep that anticipation going, despite you having been around, or the show having been around for 8 years?
The aerobatic and the air show fraternity in Southern Africa, unlike in Europe and the United States, we've got a limited pool of enthusiastic people and aerobatic artists, if we can call it that way. So to that extent, there is a limited circuit to pull from. But the guys are also, and they also realize that with each and every show, they need to come up with something different. And I can assure you that the display artists are working constantly on their programs and the maneuvers. Some of us don't understand it fully, but I can assure you that there's a lot of practice and improvement, because those guys are constantly competing on in world competitions. And so I can assure you that they are really up to world-class standards, and I'm talking the likes of Nigel Hopkins and Jason Beamish, Conrad Botha, and many other guys that we will be having here on Saturday the 25th. So to that extent, we are limited with limited display artists, but that does not detract in any way from their professional ability and being up with the world's best.
Trust it will. Okay, so what can we expect this year? How is it going to be different from the last year, the year before that?
Ma'am, I'm very, very happy to report that we've got an old-time favorite who's been absent for a number of years back with us, Menno Parsons. And as we all know, that P-51 Mustang, the World War II fighter plane, which has been absent from our skies for a number of years now, has been restored. And Menno Parsons will be back in all his glory with the P-51 Mustang. And also belonging to Menno this year, his Tiger camouflaged large Huey helicopter, that will also be back. It's been absent from our skies for a number of years. That's also been restored and up, and it will be flown also in, as well as Menno Parsons with his immaculate Bell 407. And then, of course, the old-time favorite, Nigel Hopkins, Jason Beamish, the Team Extreme. We understand that they're putting a large event together, aerobatic event consisting of 9 aircraft, which is a first in, it will be a first for Botswana. It's, well, I understand it's been what's on display the past weekend at Nelspruit Airshow, and it was a spectacular performance. So I'm happy to report that by all indications that we're going to have those guys here, and that will be something out of this world.
How many people are you expecting to be viewing all of this beauty?
Our best estimates at this point in time, it will be well over 10,000. You know, we must say that, and you maybe are aware that the race of rhinos has been cancelled for this year, and many participants that was going usually either going to the Botswana Airshow or the race for rhinos elected this year. We're coming to Botswana, and we want to be at the airshow. So at this stage, only the fly-in campers, the figures we've got, the latest figure which we accumulated last night was about 350 already, which is well over last year's figure. So we are, you know, we've got limited space. I very much doubt whether our terrain and the site can entertain more than 12,000 people. But we certainly aiming for over 10,000.
Of course, the show would not be possible without its sponsors. First Issues spoke with head of Wesbank business, Tsikanyana Sisini, about why they found it of paramount importance to continue being the main sponsors of the air show as Wesbank.
The main reason why we are partnering with Matsieng Flying Club, we've partnered with them for the past 6 years, is part of our corporate social responsibility. We are trying to give back to the community that we are doing business within. For us, it's one humble way of saying thank you so much for doing business with us. Over the years, we have touched so many hearts with our donations in the past 6 years. For example, if you go last year alone, I think we donated to about 7 charity houses in and around Rasesa, where the actual air show is happening. This year we are targeting to at least reach out to about 10 charities. In actual fact, we will be more than happy if we can reach beyond the Rasesa and Matsieng area where the air show is happening.
And lastly, we asked, how has the show grown over the years?
The show has grown in leap and bounds in the past 6 years. Last year alone, for the first time, we hit well over 10,000 spectators that came to the show. We have seen the stunts growing as well. Last year there were about 18 stunts. This year we're expecting well over 24. You can see that that's a massive growth. Aircrafts that will be flying in at the airstrip there, we're expecting well over 180 versus to the 124 that we received last year. Even the attendance this year, we expect to reach the 11,500 mark.
What is the future of help? It's to help people find the great in themselves. The drive, the passion. Help them find their true potential. Help them stretch. Help them grow. That's why we help people help themselves, help the world, because a little help goes a long, long way. FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to another installment of our Own Your Day, Own Your Life Productivity segment, where we are helped to make the connection between our lifestyles, our health and productivity. Tonight, resident guest Professor Kieran Baggett educates us on the relatively new findings on gut health and how it ultimately affects our overall quality of life.
We're beginning to understand how critical the gut is, but perhaps if we start by making our public aware that the gut consists of obviously the intestines itself, and the principal purpose of the gut is digestion. It digests the food that we eat, so that food is absorbed into the circulation and provides you the energy and the nutrients that you need. And initially we used to think that the body did its own thing. It produces the chemicals and the enzymes that break down the food, and that food then passed into the gut. We now have begun to understand over the last 15-20 years, and it's a revolution that's occurring in medicine, that not only does the body produce the chemicals to break down the food, but we have bacteria in our gut. We call that the microbiome. And the microbiome, everybody has their own natural biome or bacteria. And we inherit that from our mums. As you pass through the birth canal, you actually take in some of mum's microbiome, and that's swallowed by the baby as the baby is born and gets to sit in its gut. And we know that, for example, babies that are born by cesarean section have much greater incidence of problems in later life, which we're now beginning to understand is related to the fact that they didn't inherit natural biome, natural gut bacteria. And those bacteria are vital in working in, the word we use is symbiotic, which basically means they have a partnership with the gut itself. They produce chemicals, they produce antidepressants. For example, the antidepressant Prozac switches on a particular chemical in the brain called serotonin. We know that the majority of serotonin occurs from manufactured by the bacteria in the gut. And we know that certain things kill those bacteria. And the biggest thing we do to kill our bacteria in our gut, our friendly bacteria, are antibiotics. We know that use and abuse or overuse of antibiotics kills the natural bacteria in the gut, and we now know, and scientific data is now showing, that people, particularly children who have recurrent antibiotic courses, suffer long-term from many conditions. We're beginning to see the possibility that autism or learning disorders, we're beginning to see mental disorders, we're beginning to see autoimmune diseases, diseases where the body attacks itself is as a result of the breakdown of the gut bacteria. Those gut bacteria protect our gut, and by destroying the bacteria, we're actually destroying some of our natural health systems. And this is a whole revolution that's occurred in biology. And before Obama left his presidency, he actually invested millions of dollars to understanding what bacteria are important in which conditions in the gut. And this is currently the topic of huge amounts of research in North America and in Europe.
Join us again next week as we continue to part 2 of Gut Health, where we learn how to improve our gut health to function at its optimum best. Until then, from me, Matsieng, good night. This program was brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?